Good afternoon. My name's Caroline Cartwright from Hertfordshire Opportunities. We're still welcoming people in, but we'll start the webinar. Couple of things. So it should be an hour long, between 45 minutes and an hour. We're recording the webinar, so we'll get this on our YouTube channel after and Hertfordshire Opportunities. I've got some handouts actually, which you should be able to get to in the tab. We'll email them out to you, but some handouts of the slides and the education landscape toolkits, which Ruth is going to talk about. And we can't see any of you. You can be promoted to your video. I can turn your videos on if you do want to speak in the Q&A. So do let us know. And there are questions. There's a questions tab which you should be able to get to. So please write in all your questions, and we'll do questions at the end. So first of all, just a quick rundown of who our panelists are today. So Ruth, do you want to say hello? Where you're
Hi,
from?
hi everyone. Lovely to meet you, even if I can't see you all yet. My name's Ruth Joseph. I'm the Partnerships Manager for the Strategic Development Network. I'm here to talk about the Education Landscape Programme today.
Lovely. Yeah, Ruth is the brilliant new toolkit which is available for employers. So Ruth will be talking us through that. And Emma?
Morning everyone. Yes, I'm Emma. I run Amber Mountain Marketing, and I'm here just to talk about how you can bring the younger generation into your business.
Lovely. And Philippa?
Hello, yes, I'm Philippa. I'm one of the skills advisors on the HOP team. I'm glad you can make it today.
Lovely. Right, if I just go to the next slide. So today's agenda, we are going to be talking about the opportunities available to you to reach your future talent through the education landscape. So that's a national programme which is available. And then we're going to drill down into a bit of detail about all the different, we've got so many brilliant programmes in Hertfordshire available to support employers to connect with education. Then we can take the slides down, and Philippa is going to do a bit of a Q&A with Emma Ellis from Amber Mountain, who are brilliant at apprenticeships and engaging with young people. And then time for a Q&A and next steps. I've introduced the panelists actually, so I can actually miss this slide. So Ruth, it's over to you. So what I'll do, I'll turn my camera off, Ruth, and the rest of us can turn our cameras off, but I'll click your slides forward. So just give me a nod if I haven't clicked forward at the right time. So
That's great. Thanks, Caroline. Great. Well, thanks for your time, everyone. As I mentioned before, I work for the Strategic Development Network, and we are specialists in technical education. Amongst this programme, which I'm going to talk to you about today, we also lead on the T-level employee support package that is funded by the DFE. That's one of our other areas that we deal with. But today I'm talking to you about the Gatsby Education Landscape Programme. And for those of you that don't know about the Gatsby Charitable Foundation, it's basically Lord Sainsbury's charitable foundation, and he's a keen advocate of technical education and how we should bring it up to par with your traditional route of academic education, and how it can be used to basically upskill the country and help meet the skills, needs and requirements of businesses. So next slide, please, Caroline. Just to give you context, I'm sure you're all aware, but the recent report by the Federation of Small Business had highlighted how 78% of small businesses have struggled to recruit in the past 12 months, with 82% saying that it's mainly due to a lack of relevant qualifications, skills and experience. As well as that, the Open University Business Barometer has stated how £6.1 billion per annum of business spend is on recruitment and retention and upskilling. So it's fair to say, as I'm sure everyone's aware, it's a key issue for our country and one that really needs addressing. So next slide, please, Caroline. So in that way, this programme, the Education Landscape, hopes to kind of help with that. And what has happened really is there's been a development of documents, online documents at the moment, a guide and an index for employers such as yourself to help describe the options for working with education and skills. But it's really been done with a lot of R&D with small businesses in particular about what's the best language to use and how it can be clear, and just to cut through the jargon that you might feel, or the noise that you might feel that there is in this area, that it can be confusing sometimes to know what's best for you and how to get involved. So hopefully these documents will help make that clearer for you. Next slide, please. This is just a snapshot really of the cover of the guide itself. The guide and the index, which I'm about to show you a snapshot of as well, already sits on the Hertfordshire Opportunities portal. So hopefully there'll be a link to that where you can immediately access these documents that will help you understand the education system better and all the different opportunities that are available for you. But as is stated here, the real drive of it really has been the focus on benefits for business, and where it is really important for you to engage and how it can support you in doing so. Thanks, Caroline. Yeah, just to dive a bit deeper really, it really comes at it from this point of view, from the benefits for business point of view. So it's to help. The aim is to see where you can get involved, where it can help with your recruitment, your retention, your upskilling, that development of your new talent pipeline. But there's also a different other areas where you can get involved in, such as being a governor for your school, or getting involved in local skills planning. There are all these different activities and opportunities that are available for you to be involved within kind of your local education system, in order to kind of build those new partnerships and just make sure that you're aware and you can benefit and in that local connection. So next slide, please. This is the index again. It's a snapshot of the cover. This is possibly, I would say, the main document really. It's a directory, and it summarises all the opportunities that you can get involved with that will kind of help support your business. And I'll show you a snapshot in a moment, so if you can scroll on, Caroline. Thank you. Yes, so this is just a snapshot of one of the pages. As I said, it's already on the HOP portal, so you can access this. It's not just this page, obviously there's a whole host of the different activities, but as you can see, it gives you an overview of the different type of activity in a really clear and concise way, a clear summary that just shows how you can get involved, identifying the headline benefits, but also more importantly, the commitment from you. So it gives you a bit of an understanding of the expectation from your side about what it means for you in order to get involved. Next slide, please. Just to give you, so not only obviously I'm speaking to you as Hertfordshire employers, but as mentioned, this is an England-wide programme, and this gives you an idea of the different sorts of organisations that we have involved to date. Normally my job is, I would deal with say Caroline at Hertfordshire LEPSY. I deal with different people in the chambers, councils and other local enterprise partnerships, but there are already an increasing number of sector and industry bodies that are involved, and we're growing this all the time. So the idea is that really across the country there'll be promotion of a common language really, so that we can all understand and just make it clear all the different opportunities that are available, but just using that common language just to make it clearer and simpler for you to get involved. So next slide, please. So that's it really. Next steps are, please use the documents to help support your business, understand all the opportunities that are available to you, hopefully with a view to helping your business grow and succeed. And for yourselves in Hertfordshire, as I've mentioned, the documents are already sitting on the HOP portal, which is great. Hertfordshire have been one of our early adopters, so it's fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here today. So thanks, Caroline. So have a look, see what areas you want to get involved in. Hopefully you've got the information there, but obviously I'd urge you to speak to your contacts at Hertfordshire LEP to just explore those options and further training opportunities that are available to you. So that's it from me, and I hope that was clear and concise as the documents are, so please have a look. Thanks a lot.
Lovely. Thanks, Ruth. And I've just realised that we're using GoToWebinar now. Often we use Teams and Zoom, but the reason I want to use it because it's really good for hosting webinars, and it does polls, and I forgot to do the poll. So this is my first, I'm going to practice launching a poll. And then I'm not too sure if actually the slides stay up at the same time as the presentation. I think they do, but if I leave that out for a few, oh yes, I can see people voting. This is great. So just a bit of a poll on your background as the audience in terms of engaging with education, on what your background is, what your knowledge is, and what you want to get out of the webinar. Ruth, can I just ask a couple of questions? We're going to do a full Q&A at the end, but how is it put together in terms of so is it written by Strategic Development Network? So what was your thinking in terms of bringing it together, in terms of how it was to be written, to make it really clear, because it's so complex out there, such great opportunities to engage with education and young people, but actually it was music to our ears when we knew it was coming. To have it all in one place is brilliant. So
yeah, that's great. Can you hear me still, Caroline?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, really. It's been 3 years in the making, really, and as mentioned, Gatsby are very keen advocates of technical education, but there was a substantial R&D period with SMEs in particular that helped kind of pull the materials together to see whether obviously they'd be welcomed for a start, which obviously they were, but it also there was a pilot in the Northwest that happened in lockdown actually, and that's why they kind of basically honed what the look and feel really of the documents, to just try and get the messaging right, to try and just make sure that it was really clear, concise and easily understood by small business in particular. While we're saying small business, the focus of the programme is about small business, but obviously it's not exclusive to business, because there's an understanding that these documents really help all business kind of get a better idea of what's out there, and just to clarify the picture, really.
Yeah.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So what is really keen for us in Hertfordshire is to make sure we have all these brilliant national programmes, apprenticeships and T-levels. We have the Careers and Enterprise Company, and there's lots of regional programmes as well, and there's lots of local programmes. And we're working really hard in Hertfordshire to give you that support as an employer to access young people and future talent, and there's so much support out there in terms of developing the infrastructure for that within your business. So I just want to have a quick run through of the types of programs that you can get involved with, and we'd love you to get involved with. So just a snapshot here. See, there's 10 on 10 different boxes on this page here. So of course there's the programs that everyone knows about, like apprenticeships and T-level placements. They're the formal ones. There's also graduate programs, of course, accessing talent through our universities. But, it doesn't need to be any of that. It can be an early career program where you're looking to take young people in. So there's the formal programs, work experience and placements. There's a whole different ream of different work experience opportunities you can offer a school. They're crying out to speak to you. They have to enable their young people to connect with employers. They have to offer their students right from year 7 and year 8 now encounters with employers. So they need to speak to employers, schools do. So there's all different types. You can do much more formal work experience or just a day here and there. So there's lots of opportunities. We have a good service called Services for Young People in Hertfordshire, who is that connection point between the schools. They provide the advisors in schools, the careers advisors, and they support the schools to connect with employers. lots around social mobility, and we've got it's a brilliant national campaign, Back the Future, which is all about offering good quality programs for young people, fair wages. Like, for example, the apprenticeship wage is quite low, but we always say a plea to employers is pay the market value. You know, and if you're going to start on a low wage, perhaps make sure you've got your job descriptions, how they can progress and increase their salary as they qualify and as they get more experience. We have formal programs like the Careers and Enterprise Advisor, the Careers and Enterprise Company, and you can become a Careers Enterprise Advisor. This is quite a commitment of time, but really rewarding. We have 102 to 110 secondary schools in Hertfordshire, and each one is allocated 1 or 2 senior people from employers who are working with the senior team to develop their careers education programme. Become a disability confident employer. There's a support out there through the DWP and Hertfordshire County Council to support employers who are looking to reach a more diverse audience. One, to reach young people who might have a disability, but also to support with the infrastructure within the workplace. We've got some great local projects which reach out to underrepresented groups. One called Project Positive, which is working with care experienced young people and supporting their journey to work. We've got Hop Into Your Future, which again is supporting underrepresented or disadvantaged young people into work placements. We have our careers hubs as well, and we run careers events, we run webinars, lots of different activities to connect education employers. So you can just be a panelist, or do something more formal like have an employer insight day where you're inviting young people into your workplace. What we're not talking about today, and we're going to run a series of webinars, but we haven't talked about, I'm not going to touch on adult education and skills, but there's a huge raft of programs and support and funding, lots of funding to support adult education. We've got the brilliant HOP in Hertfordshire. Please engage with HOP. Make sure you get your vacancies and your opportunities on HOP, because we know a lot of it gets a lot of traction, a lot of page views, and we know our young people are looking at that for to research work experience, to look for apprenticeships, to study our different industries and sectors. So please get involved in HOP. You can have a spotlight page on HOP, which is basically showcasing your organisation and your opportunities if you give back. So if you do one of our webinars or join HOP opportunities or become a Careers and Enterprise Advisor. And then finally, make the pledge. We've got it's really informal, but if you make the pledge, you can have your showcase on HOP Opportunities portal, and it gets you access to the full programme of HOP opportunities and some more sort of in-depth support from one of our skills team. So that's how you can get involved in Hertfordshire. The team are really experienced in terms of skills and education. So please do use us. We're just at the end of the phone for you. So we can take a more strategic look at your business and do a plan to connect your business growth plans to the workforce, whether that's your future skills needs or you're looking at your current workforce, and supporting you to access funding. We make it our business to know about every single funding opportunity there is, and there is a lot of funding out there to support skills. We can support with considering and planning the apprenticeship programs. We know the providers, and we work a lot with programs like the levy transfer, and then also the schools through our careers hubs and our careers and enterprise company, and through our partnership with Services for Young People. And we work with all the colleges, the 4 colleges, the independent training providers. We really can connect you with the schools and education network to support you to reach that future talent. So I think that is slides all done. So I'm going to stop sharing, and now we've got a Q&A with Philippa and Emma. There you go. So I will hand over to you two, and then I'll pop my camera back on. I'll mute myself for a bit, and then we'll have an overall Q&A at the end. So over to you, Philippa.
Thank you very much, Caroline. And Emma, it's brilliant to have you along as one of our employers in Hertfordshire. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your organisation?
Yeah, sure. I'm Emma and I run Amma Mountain Marketing. We're a digital marketing communications company. We do everything from social media to websites to online newsletters, blogs. We're making sure businesses can be seen by anybody that needs their services, is really. And I kind of set up Amma Mountain Marketing to support small businesses because there's a bit of a gap in the market for small businesses to get the marketing they need. And to do that, I have apprentices that work in the business. So I'm massively passionate about helping the younger generation, but at the same time, small businesses can get their marketing fulfilled at a bit more of a cost-effective price.
That's fantastic, thank you. So what sort of projects or initiatives have you got involved in that involve working with education, so schools, apprentices, colleges, universities?
So we provide a digital marketing apprenticeship. So we've had a few people come through it after they've done their university degree, and quite a lot of people after they've done their A-levels or equivalent. So they're coming in, and we also do a work placement for people at university as well. In that work placement year, they come in for the year to learn the trade as well.
And are you involved with schools as well?
Yes, sorry, yes, I am. Yes, so I'm a enterprise advisor for Sandringham School, but then we all kind of help each other and we're all the enterprise advisors. So if there's anything going on, like there's something at Beaumont and Sandringham tomorrow, so one of my staff's going to Beaumont, one's going to Sandringham, so we try and help out on any careers fairs or anything that they need really from that point of view.
That's fantastic. It sounds like a really supportive network, so that's great. And how did you get started in your in doing that activity? Could you find the right contacts?
What we're doing, what activity? Sorry, the apprenticeship, or?
Well, to do with, yeah, particularly to do with the kind of interaction with schools, I think, you know, with the education area.
Yeah, do you know, I stumbled across someone at networking before, and they just started the apprenticeship, and they were an eventrise advisor. So they told me about it, and Leslie, they got introduced to Leslie, and it's just such a lovely network of people, and actually it's really helpful to help the younger generation, but it's helpful for your business as well, that you've built a network of people around you, and it's just such a lovely community, and I think it's just really nice how we all help each other to help our kind of local school.
That's great. And I mean, what would you say are the benefits to your business of getting involved with education?
I think for me, I've got a few people that have now working in the business that have seen me do a talk a couple of years ago or things at the school, and it also gives me, I am passionate about the apprenticeship model. I do think that there's a gap in the market and schools aren't talking about it enough, and now they're inviting me in to talk about it. So for me, it's a great opportunity to be able to tell people about it, to tell people what I'm offering, but give the students different choices. Not university isn't for everybody, and it's really nice now that we're talking about other options for people that, you know, just don't think that uni's for them. So it's great. It's a great opportunity to be able to go in and talk about that now.
That's great. Has it had an impact on the staff in your own business?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, we've got a lot more people coming from the local schools now, which is fantastic. They've heard about us and they know about us. And well, we've got 8 apprentices in the business, and they're telling their friends and people about it as well, which is great. And they're now talking at these events as well. And I think it, you know, it's great for the students to be able to see someone almost their age doing something. I think I'm a bit old sometimes, so it's quite nice. It's quite nice, yeah, for our guys to go in, but it's definitely helped my business. The teachers are talking about our business and apprenticeships here, and parents are talking to other parents about it now, so it's brilliant.
That's great, and it sounds like a development opportunity for your staff too, to get them out and about and developing their own skills.
They learn all different, it's marketing, but they learn all different industries. and they have the option to stay with us afterwards. And I've got four that are nearly two that are finished and 2 that are nearly finished that are staying with us, and then they go on to help work with bigger and better clients. So it gives them something to aim for as well.
What support did you need to get a young person set up to to do insights into the workplace? Did you get that help?
Fortunately, the supplier of the apprenticeship was very helpful. I did struggle to get a digital marketing one, actually. So there's more now, which is brilliant. But yeah, so they helped me understand what I needed. I think the thing I completely forgot is that students probably haven't used Outlook or picked up a phone and things like that. So it was just back to basics as well that they taught me about, which I probably wouldn't have even thought about. And you do forget, because you've been in an office environment so long, that they're used to talking via WhatsApp, and they don't have Outlook, they have Gmail. So it's just little things like that. So they kind of get through the step by steps, and they do training too, which is great.
That's great. And so what advice would you have for another employer that wanted to get involved with the education landscape?
I think they should definitely speak to you guys, obviously, but it's been really, really rewarding for me. I just absolutely love being able to see a young person just go from not really being able to pick up a phone, not really sure what they're doing, to absolutely, some of them can run the world. They're insane. So they're just having those tools. So for me, I just love getting involved with all the network that there is in the enterprise advisory, and I just think you guys are all amazing. So for my advice for an employee, if you're worried about doing it, speak to these guys or speak to me, and we would happily help you, because it is really rewarding and you're doing something great for the younger generation.
That's fantastic to hear. Thank you very much indeed, Emma. It sounds, your enthusiasm for it is really infectious. So thank you for that. And Caroline, I think we're back to you. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Emma. And I loved your post on LinkedIn. I saw it last week about your Fridays pajama day.
The hybrid working's happening, but we do like to be in the office, so we can, it's the confidence more than anything. We want to make sure we're listening to the kind of the body language and things that we pick up on. So we've let them work from home. Most of it's a study day anyway, so we work from home on a Friday, so they feel that they're part of that, what everyone else is getting with the hybrid working, and they're loving it. And it's quite nice on a Thursday. We get the Friday feeling on a Thursday now, which is quite nice. So yes, They all work from home on a Friday. We still touch base twice on that day, so we do some training in the day to keep them active and things. But yeah, they're loving it. So it's good to be able to do something like that they're kind of expecting from the employment world these days.
Yeah, we've had some questions come in. Just so, they come into the office except for that one day?
Yes.
Because I know so many people are working in a hybrid model now. But if it's the first, would you say if it's their first role, they need to be in the office most of the time? So some companies say we work from home now.
Yeah, I think it's really dependent on the person you get. For me, I just know I can help them more, and because there's a lot of different apprentices, they all help each other. But we do know of some people working from home. It's just making sure you're giving them that attention and you're spending time with them, even if it's on a call. But for me, I think the office environment just helps build their confidence more than anything.
Yeah. And then I had another question about a lot of people, young people, think they're missing out on this social life of university. And is there anything fun that you're doing or to bring that social life to the workplace? I mean, I think work's the best social life.
Yeah, and you're getting paid, aren't you? You're getting paid to have a social life. So yeah, we try and make it fun. Tia's in charge of all our events, and we literally just had a Halloween party last week where we all dressed up. We had cocktail guy come in and we played silly games all afternoon, which I absolutely loved. It makes me feel very young again, which was fantastic. But yeah, they really enjoyed it, and we're always trying to think of team building things. We've been to escape rooms, and they quite often go out together without the boss, which is fully understandable. So they've got that environment here, to be honest, because it's quite a young company. They already kind of have it. So yeah. We're just planning a Christmas party at the moment, and we've got a party bus and things like that. So we try and bring that kind of entertainment time inside, and we always have games at lunch times and things like that. So we're hoping that they won't feel they miss out that much.
Yeah. How many staff do you have?
There's 11 of us.
Yeah, so yeah, you're a small business then. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
when you
small
talk about the
business.
party bus, you sound like Amazon, or you sound like, you know, like what's the party
I
bus?
wish, yes, I've got a Google mindset, fingers crossed.
Yeah. What is a party bus?
Oh, it's literally, as it said, it's kind of like, it's got music, you're allowed to dance on it and things like that. So it's taken us to a venue for the evening and stuff. So yeah.
I'm not sure if that would swing where I work, but I might give it a go.
Yeah.
Right, there's some questions that have come in. Let me see if I can get to them. Hang on a second, because I seem to have broken the question tab. Can you see them, Philippa? Oh, I've had another one here.
I can't see any questions at all, I'm afraid. But Emma, I was just going to ask you. I know I met you recently at a careers fair. What do you get from a careers fair? What's the benefit for a business in going to a careers fair?
Yeah, for me, it's just telling people about marketing. I think people don't really understand what it is, and so we played a game with it. They were year 10s and 11s to start with, so actually it was just giving them a logo game and guessing the logo and trying to explain to them without marketing you wouldn't have known those logos, and trying to get them understand, but making it fun for them. But for me as well, their twilight session that they did at the last career fair was brilliant, because it was sixth formers that brought their parents in, and I think there's still a lot of people my age that think apprenticeships are hairdressing, plumbing, and now you can do them in absolutely everything. So for me, it was great to educate the younger generation and the older generation at the same time. So, but I just love being that there's little light bulb moments in the students' heads when they finally go, oh, hang on a minute, yes, I understand. And I just, for me, that's what I really love about going there.
That's great.
I can see the questions. I've got my settings a bit odd, but Emma, a question here. Did you need any training to go and work in school? Well, I guess you didn't work there, but to engage with young people, because I know there is quite a lot of safeguarding. It would be health about working with young people, engaging with young people. So what happened there?
Leslie looked at all that sort of side of it for me and helped me. But you do some training with the enterprise advisory and they help you, but you're never going in the schools on your own anyhow. So you're with usually with the person in charge, the couple of people in charge of all the careers development in the school, and then you're invited to go in and talk and things. But yes, all the safeguarding and everything, the enterprise advisory take over for you.
Yeah, so you don't need DBSs, do you? Because I think it's the rule, actually, Philippa, you'll know this, as long as you're with a member of staff who is DBS. So there's none of that extra administration, because yeah,
that's right. Speaking as an ex-careers leader from a school, visitors can go into school and visit. As Emma says, you're escorted everywhere all the time. You have to sign in, the normal things when you're visiting a business. That all applies. It's just that you have to have a staff member with you all the time.
Yeah. Let me just take a look at the other questions. Oh, who's your training provider, by the way, Emma? I missed that. Who's your apprenticeship training provider?
We use QA because they were
Joanna.
Yeah.
It's Joanna, isn't it, from QA? Is that right?
There is a Joanna. Yes, our contact's Pete, but yes.
Yeah, they're good. They are QA. They're good for digital marketing and IT, aren't they?
Yeah.
Has Emma encountered any difficulties by employing young people? I'm going to read the question as it stands. Are teenagers hard work?
I think you've just got to make sure when you're doing the interview process, you're looking for teenagers with a really strong mindset. I tend to not really look at the CVs. I have a questionnaire that I ask, and it is quite interesting how many people apply versus how many people fill in the questionnaire, because you do have to kind of really, it probably takes you about an hour to fill in the questionnaire, but they're the people that really want it and are really passionate about it. So yes, they can be hard work, but they're also it's really rewarding. For me, it's getting their confidence from there to there. We do quite a lot of mindset stuff. We get people coming in and talking anyhow, but I just think they're incredible. And I think quite a lot of people still think apprenticeships are just going to be a bunch of teenagers that don't really know anything. For me, it's marketing. They're experts. They come in experts. They've been brought up on it, social media. So it's brilliant. Yeah, and for me, I just think it is really, really rewarding. And if you get people with the right mindset, there are literally people in here that are going to be really high up in senior marketing companies one day. I just know it. A couple of them are probably better than me at marketing now, and that's fine by me. It's insane. So yeah, I would definitely, you're going to get those people, but it's still so worth it for the people that come in that really just want to push their goals and become somebody at the end of it.
Yeah, I
think
yeah,
I was going to add that it's those interactions beforehand that can really help the young people to develop an interest in any sector, whether it's marketing or any other, that will really help them understand what employers are looking for, what's going to make them successful, because they don't want to go into a business and be a total disaster. So, you know, if they want to do well, then they need to learn up front, and it's up to us and our employers to help them understand that in a learning curve, sort of before they start their first job on day one. So that's all part of that journey.
Yeah. And what is your recruitment process? How are you finding the young people? And then when the CVs come in, what are your next steps there?
We actually use a lot of the local Facebook groups. We find a lot of the parents are on the Facebook groups and they tell them about it. And we obviously will use the apprenticeship site. We use you guys to advertise as well. And it's just about and also we pop it on Indeed. But we use our social media mainly to market it. And because kind of now got a big network in the local area, it does work. I mean, my background is recruitment marketing anyhow, but quite a lot of these if you're doing an apprenticeship, quite a lot of the apprenticeship people will advertise it and get people for you at the same time. I just quite like to do it myself because I'm used to it, and I like to kind of advertise in the local area.
So it sounds like you have a brilliant network and you're not struggling too much to get applicants in. Is that right?
I think it's changed a lot recently over the last year or so. I think parents are realizing actually this is a really good way to be earning money and get a qualification. You can now, the apprenticeship you can do it all the way up to degree level, and it's 4 years of working, so which is kind of the equivalent of uni if you do the kind of working placement. So we're not having trouble finding people, which is brilliant. We did to start with, but now I think it is getting our name out there. But I do think the landscape's changing slightly, and with the cost of living, actually I think some parents are pushing their to do apprenticeships because
we need lots more employers like yourself to
absolutely. And I'm always trying to convince people to do it. And I do think that, you know, we definitely had 3 or 4 businesses that have started using apprenticeships because we are doing it. And I'm happy to speak to any employer that's thinking about it and tell them how I've gone about it, and tell them my mistakes so they don't make the same ones, and hopefully we can help some more of the younger generation.
Yeah. And what level apprenticeships what's the highest level? Can you mention degree apprenticeships there? Are any of your employees doing degree apprenticeships?
Not at the moment, no. They start at level 3 here. Quite a lot of them want to go on, so a couple of them are doing a different marketing qualification with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, but you can take it all the way through to level 6. And that's an option with what we offer. We just haven't had anyone do it yet, but I am trying to talk them to do that. But yeah, that is an option. So if anyone's thinking about but I want a degree, you can still do that through the apprenticeship model for any qualification now. They're doing it for most of them.
Yeah. Ruth, are you still on the call? There's a couple of questions about sort of other areas. Actually, Emma, you may be able to. Is that Ruth come in?
No, that's fine. Sorry, I was really conscious that I'd come off the camera, and I didn't want to just suddenly pop back on. I thought I'll only come back on when my name was mentioned.
Yeah, I did think that. I didn't say to come back. Because Emma, I know you've done work experience as well and placements, but Ruth, could you give us like the headlines on T levels, because they're around. Emma, have you used T levels?
No, and actually when you said everyone knows about apprenticeships and T levels, I think that T levels might be a thing that quite a lot of people don't know about, so it would be good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it's
headlines.
Yeah, I think obviously it's something that's been introduced to just get that, if people aren't quite ready to move into apprenticeships or not quite ready to do that in work, it's about kind of having that parity within the school and FE system itself. So it's almost like an apprenticeship flipped, if you like. So it's kind of students will spend 80% kind of in school and then have a placement 20% with employers over a set period. Now, please bear in mind, T-levels is not my area of expertise, so I am giving you very much the headline. Obviously, they're very new, but there are a whole host of different T-levels that are coming on board all the time, and you'll have read, I'm sure, during the summer about the first level cohort that came through. And there was a bit mixed, but I think generally overall they were received really well. But they are seen as, there are some teething issues undoubtedly, but they're very much seen as a pathway into apprenticeships, and it is for those kids, as Emma has mentioned, who don't necessarily want to go to university but are not quite ready to get into work yet. So it's very much about kind of, they're still within that theoretical model, but there is kind of that introduction of the hands-on placement of skills, if you like. So it is that kind of pathway into tech ed. I hope that gives you a bit of a background. I can provide more information. I can get more information to you that I can send via you, Caroline, if people are more interested. Obviously, as I mentioned, we do as an organisation, although it's not the programme that I work on, do the T-level employee support, and that is rolling out. But there are different T-levels now coming on board all the time. So we would give, say, there's an accountancy T-level, so we'd a finance and accountancy, so we've given a webinar to employers to understand more in that sector what that means for them. And what have you. So I can certainly VU make that aware what the next kind of webinars are for employers who are interested in finding out more.
Yeah, and as Philippa and myself at Hertfordshire Opportunities and Claire, our colleague, we will sort of make sure that we're at the centre of T-levels. So we're quite young starters in Hertfordshire, if you like. So one of our FE colleges and some of our schools, Broxbourne School and West Herts, have started, but all of our colleges are ramping up. And from September 2023, we've got a huge acceleration of T-levels that are being offered across a huge amount of sectors. So I think it's going to be fascinating to watch the education landscape over the next few years, because they're aiming for this parity of academic or T-level, but academic and university is really easy to go down that path because it's such an incredible institution. Newcastle is applying for university, as are A-levels, but the vocational is just really, it's complex, so they're really working on it. So I just do think in 10 years time, or hopefully earlier than that, it will just be really clear on that technical side. I think the problem is an employer has to be involved, and that's brilliant. An employer has to be involved, but we need to make it really easy for our employers to get involved, because there are teething problems, aren't there?
Yeah, no, and like I say, I can certainly get the next shaft of webinars to you with dates and what have you.
I've seen those. We'll get those published. And then just one other question is on how young do you start engaging with education? How young can you go, and how would you, I know some of the policies, so I know it is young, but how would you engage sort of age 13, 14?
Do you know, it's a really interesting point. I mean, I know through my work with different parts of the country, but there, certainly with regards to STEM, you know, there is a lot of work about employers kind of getting into schools, to primary schools, for example. There's almost that point where if you reach secondary school, it can sometimes be too late in a way. I mean, there's also another thing around kind of parental engagement, which I think, you know, Emma had mentioned, which is really key. It's another area about making parents aware. And it's really great to hear that, Emma, that, you know, what you're saying now, that from your experience, that parents are getting more and more kind of pro tech ed route, because I think there has always been that kind of, what do you like, that bias really that everyone has to go through higher education. But as we know, you know, who as a parent, and I'm a parent of difficult teenage children, it is that thing where you know, obviously to have a degree is great, but you also don't want the debt associated with it. And unless, you know, you've got a child who is incredibly bright and knows what they want to do, or is particularly focused, it can be quite difficult, can't it? Whereas if they've got an, you know, apprenticeships are a way for them to kind of learn something on the job, not accrue that debt. So it's difficult, isn't it? You can see why the academic route is right for certain children, but I think there's more and more kind of move towards the technical side of it, not just in terms of skilling and getting the crucial skills expertise, not just for employers but for kids themselves. Like you say, there needs to be that kind of awareness of how they can be job ready, that they don't necessarily always get through the academic route. So yeah, I've probably gone way off key there, but that's my thoughts.
It's really interesting, I think. Yeah, follow. If you've, as I said, Philip, I'm going to put you in the spot a bit, but I was going to say follow Hertfordshire Opportunities, because we're trying to take all that national policy and those brilliant programs that are available and just bring it into Hertfordshire and just enable employers to connect with education. We've got this lovely program. We're funded, got some, you'll have seen the European Social Fund. We've got a bit of money left from that European pot. So we've been able to build our team. But Philippa, you work hand in hand with employers. So do you just want to give a couple of lines of how employers can work with you, how you can support them with skills? And
yes, definitely. With there's plenty of opportunity for employers to find out, and we can support with information and links and contacts on how to do that, and really supporting businesses to develop their workforce in terms of training and development, moving into apprenticeship programs if they haven't done already, so getting on board with those schemes, and linking up with schools and colleges and university to think about that engagement with the education landscape. So there just seem to be so many different ways that we can support and help the businesses really plan their next steps. I know there's a lot of priorities on their plate at the moment, but this is one area that there is direct and immediate help available for you.
good. Well, talk all day, ladies, but I think we've come to the end now. So thank you all of you for your time, especially Emma and Ruth. And Emma is an employer as well, because I know you're giving up your time. You're a brilliant organisation, Amber Mountain. So we watch you always and the great work you're doing. Thanks, Ruth, for your time. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you, Philippa. So yeah, next steps is please do get in touch with Hertfordshire Opportunities and HOP. I think one of my colleagues was going to put it in the chat, but did not go to. Just Google Hertfordshire Opportunities and you'll find us and our contact details. And we continually update the website with all the different programs that are available. We stream all the jobs, all the apprenticeships, lots of work experience and graduate opportunities. So as an employee, if you have those, please let us know. Make sure they're streaming through HOP so our young people can find your opportunities. But thank you for your time. And we've got another webinar coming up actually on the 5th of December, which is on Levy, apprenticeship levy, making the most of levy. So that is twofold. That is one as a large employer, but we're looking to do lots of projects, and we've got some running already on how you can take levy from a large employer to get your apprenticeships fully funded. So we've got quite a few of our large employers pledging their levy. So we've got one on that in December. We've got an apprenticeship briefing in November as well. So we'll send you an email on that. And we've got one on T-levels in January. So thank you for your time, everyone, and have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.